Hey, muy buenos días, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. And as always, from the heart, muchísimas gracias to everybody for you guys' words, wishes, and for everything you stand my way. Gracias. Now, for this one, it's a story I had recorded a little while back, but I did want to put it on this channel so that, hopefully the message is there how dirty politics or overall carnales, if you want to call them that, are. So I hope it makes a little bit of sense with the message. Y de nuevo, muchísimas gracias.
Hey, muy buenas noches to everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. Y de nuevo, muchísimas gracias a todos for giving me that minute or two to hear me out, the message I'm trying to push, and for all you guys' kind words and prayers. Se los agradezco como siempre mucho. Now, for this time, I want to basically touch on three different camaradas, right? And what does end up happening once a camarada, he either checks in, they move on him, or in other cases, he's just out from the picture, period, due to personal problems or XX thing. Now, before I start off, first off, I want to say that, there is a lot of Billies that they're not as careless, you could say that, they do care for camaradas, and they try to shield them from a lot of things, but when push comes to shove, it's just what it always comes back to. You can't fight an army by yourself. So in their case, they know it's either check in or just follow suit with the rest of their brothers, right? But to start off, the first camarada I want to touch on is Blackie from San Ho. A while back, he at first he was representing Silent from SD, and is when he basically gave one of my younger homies the keys, or the right to use Silent's name on the streets, right? And as everybody knows, within time, the Billy ended up passing away due to COVID, and Blackie started supporting or helping, or you know doing a secretary thing for Babo when he was in Solano, and things continued to push as they always have, and there was a lot of pushback, from the streets. For one, my neighborhood, it's never been that, it's always been like, we can show our respects, but for you to get out here and say you have the neighborhood, that ain't gonna happen, because you could be representing a Pili, it don't mean you have the keys to the hood, right? But anyways, things ended up getting squared off, and the camarada did eventually, at least was representing the hood under Babo's name, but he was answering to Blackie. As I was aware, Blackie was actually, he was collecting from a lot of neighborhoods up north, and eventually hitting the Pili, right? And as a lot of the guys that are in the game or were in the game, you guys should be aware, that Babo had a lot of conflict going on with different Pilis. It was mainly about, Babo was a high powered Pili, and He thought he had more seniority than others. And I hear a lot of stories, for example, on this type of conflict he had with other Billys. But not to say I'm right or then they're wrong, but just everybody look at the timings. Look at the timings. There was a story on here where you know Alfie Soldado got to Folsom, but Babo was already out. I mean, come on. Alfie was long gone before Babo got out. You know what I mean? Just pay attention. I don't wanna come on here and basically put my 2 cents on things, cause it's not what it's about. It ain't about starting any type of conflict. It's about supporting whoever's pushing, the message. Just stay away from gang, mainly prison, But anyways, as you guys were aware, within time, Babo ended up getting that passionate release, and when that came, it was just about him. It was about me, and he had the 3 Billies that were backing his play up to the point where get out. The days you have on the streets, just worry about you. Whatever you had, we take it care of. And with Tablas, Topo, Wizard, they ended up concentrating on what was important to them, which was Florencia. But at the same time, he did not speak up for other people that were representing him. For example, in this case, Blackie. So time went on, and eventually, it's amongst them, Billies, carnales, as they call each other. It was basically, you're a good soldado, but that don't mean nothing. You were helping out this high-powered carnal that was calling me out my shit in public. Excuse my language. So now I'm gonna politic against you for it. It's how it always goes, If it's not over money, drugs, it's about pride, And I'm better than you. That's it. So time came, and they ended up moving on Blackie, But you could say he was a smart one, He ended up getting hit, and he just said, "Charles, I ain't gonna go through this twice," and he did what he had to do. Now his route, I couldn't really tell you, if he debriefed, if they're still doing. I don't know none of that. But all I know is they ended up hitting him, and the people that were answering to Blackie for Babo, eventually got put on that list over nothing, just because they were showing their respects to where they thought it was an organization. It wasn't an individual human being, But amongst them, that's how they move, unless it's convenient for them, right? But at all times, man, sureños, camaradas, they're not a factor in their movement, They're throwaways. They show that time and time again, as this was the case, At least from my county, or the county I grew up in, I know 8 individuals that the Billy that actually politic against Blackie ended up putting them on the hat, over nothing, over them doing quote unquote the right thing, if that exists among Sureños and Billies, But anyways, the second camarada I wanted to talk about is the camarada, Sporty from 18th Street. I believe he was from Northside 18 or something like that, up in the Valle. Anyways, I was with the homie locked up, in Tehachapi for not too long, but after that he was doing his thing, but he was a little older homie, At the time I wasn't too old, the homie had me at least by 10 years, But everything I used to hear about the camarada, he was solid, he was a good homie, He had that same style that, well, at least in my head, it was the right thing to be doing, which was just, get to a spot and put yourself in this position and don't allow yourself to get caught up in the politics, which it's impossible in reality, because you could be on a yard supporting and bump heads with whoever, and you're gonna land another place, and there's gonna be tail dragging you with you from this other yard, which it eventually will get clear up. This type of thing usually does get clear up, but by that people, while they're apples and oranges, you're gonna go through some headaches. But anyways, the homie got thrown out the worst way that I can think of. Like I stated, he was helping out, not only on the streets, touching base with Güero Caballo, his other homeboys up in the feds. He was trying to do the correct thing, you know what I mean? But, like I stated, he was older, and for some reason he came back to the shoe, and there was other Billies, that didn't really sit well with Güero Caballo, because they felt Güero Caballo was always supporting Pop Boy and Güero Sherm and XX, those type of things. And there's a lot of Billies that have a lot of anger against Puppy, for different reasons, which is a thing for a different topic, right? But anyways, Sporty in the shoe, we're like little kids, you could say that. I remember when I caught cancer, man. I used to finish up with reps of 200 of push-ups, but they weren't per se push-ups. I used to do my routine bag, and I used to finish with 200 sets of just pumps. I used to do 9, and then the 10th all the way up, and then back down to 9 pumps and 1 up. 9 pumps, and I used to do 200 like that. And I remember I was in my last set, and when I did that all the way up, I felt literally from behind my ear all the way down to my neck, like if they grabbed that muscle and they ripped it, and I fell, but I knew the rules and regulations that were established, so I knew I had to buck up, For one, I couldn't tell the Hura, hey, acá y allá, I need to go to medical, and before I put that slip in, I had to, like a little kid again, ask a Billy for permission to do so, right? But those that have done time will tell you, you don't want to expose your hand like weakness, because everybody's after everybody, and everybody's waiting for somebody to show weakness. It's just part of the game inside, all that carnalismo, homie. Yeah, in front of you they'll be like, hee hee, I love you, homie. But everybody's trying to step on the next man and trying to prove that they could actually politic to climb up, It's just all that carnalismo, loyalty stuff. It's not there no more. It hasn't been there, at least when I was there, But anyways, homeboy had some important health issues, and for his seniority, whatever, for what he was doing or has been doing, he felt he could put that medical sleep without informing, and they came, put the handcuffs on him, and he walked out to medical. He overseen, the Billies that weren't very happy with the people he was supporting, the other Billies, again, the so-called carnales, right? So, again, homeboy snuck out to medical. He didn't bring back proof why he was out there in medical. He didn't even try to send a kite explaining why he went out there. Didn't ask to go out there. So, in their eyes, he went out there to talk to squad. All this was dropping a dime, right? And I know for a fact that Sporty, within time, he got real sick, man. But that didn't stop the Billies, they ended up having him move, They ended up spearing him in the shoe. And the worst part is, I don't know how many years he was supporting his so-called homeboys turned into Billies. But when the report hit them, and hey, he's supposed to be really sick, he did this and that, we went and go ahead and moved on them, cuss of this and that. He didn't try to explain himself. His own homeboys, the ones he was helping out, eventually said, "You know best, do what you're gonna do." So there's the loyalty that, young batos on the calles are itching to go look for in prison. Again, it don't exist. Stop believing those fairy tales, that you have to go to prison and earn your stripes or get to know really what the program's about. On carnalismo, on love, on raza, unity. It just ain't there, It's a dog eat dog world, especially now, that I hear those extra things where, they're not even respecting family no more. Besides you doing what you have to do in there, you can't even have that one day per week of leaving all this behind and going out there seeing a loved one and distracting your mind from it, because that's going to be used against you and your family. I mean, just sit and analyze that for a hot second. But anyways, homeboy never locked it up, Sporty. Like I said, he was sick. He eventually ended up passing away in Corcoran Shoe, but he passed away in bad standings just because he got sick and somebody wasn't in agreement with the beliefs he was actually answering to or touching base with when it came to money and dope. It's just where the glorious Asureños at, It only matters what you could bring to the mesa and who you bring it to. All that extra, I'm a killer, I'm gonna hooping it. Man, you're not gonna get anywhere by that, Now the third one is just fairly recent. This just happened like a month. And it happened with a camarada de Copato, from Petaluma. It's about 15 minutes away from my hometown, Santa Rosa, And there's a lot of homies out there, You got a big neighborhood, but homeboy, or most of everybody from Petas, they were under Mosca. Mosca was out there tough, They were answering up to him, sending feria to him, As you guys know, Mosca pissed off a lot of Billies, In this, I can't really disagree with them, I know their scandalous ways, I know they're greedy, but, Mosca was just one of them dirty Billies, He felt he was above not only camaradas, but above his own brothers, But, this camarada, he was in Folsom, he was already doing things for another Billy, and Mosca had been already gone for a minute, but, along the line,
Do please forgive me that it cut off. I had not seen it, but I will soon touch on the Mosca and this homie's incident in Folsom. But I hope this message was able to make some sense. Again, it was one I wanted to put on here, which I will continue it soon. With this said, please stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones. God bless. Muy buenas tardes.